I often talk to my students about adding color to their writing. Writers know what is meant by adding color, but to students, it's perhaps a more sophisticated concept and requires a little more description. So I thought I would spend some time and talk about what is meant by adding color. Um, think of a coloring book when we were children. The little black and white pages and that wonderful box of Crayola crayons that we chose each one so carefully. What if there was no Crayola crayons? What if the pages remained black and white? They would be dull. They would be boring. There would be no excitement, no detail, no emotion, no feeling. Pretty much what our world would be like without color. And it's the same with our writing. If you want to touch the reader and you want to learn the technique of really good writing, you must add the color. And we do it in many ways, and those are the techniques that I teach, whether it's adding detail or examples or telling anecdotes or adding dialogue. There are so many ways to add color. So it also occurred to me that rather than just talking about color, maybe I should just give you some examples and let you feel it for yourself. So I chose a couple of essays from two of my students, and I'd like to share just very short snippets of text with you. The first one, I think he was 14 when he wrote this essay about his who he was and his family. And he was describing his dad. And this is what he wrote in his first draft. My dad is quite tall and always tries to be funny. From a very young age, he took me and my cousin to football every Saturday and Sunday morning. Okay, 14-year-old boy, he brought out the first things he thought about when he thought to describe his father. But there was no color. That was black and white. We didn't get any sharing of emotion. We didn't get any feeling. We weren't drawn into it. There was no story. Boring and dull. So he did it again and again. And I think there were 2 or 3 more drafts of the whole essay. And the final draft, the same 2 or 3 sentences about his dad, this is what he wrote. My mom told me that as a little boy, I cried when my dad left for work. I don't cry anymore, but I know how good it feels when my dad is with me, or even watches me play football. Wow, what a surprise. Wow, he really had to dig, and he did. We went from Dad, who was quite tall and funny, to a little boy crying at the door. And then, we could see the little boy standing there. And how many young boys have we seen on the football field who search the stands to see where their dad is sitting? How many times have we done that? This became real. He added the color. Good job. Really good job. Now, the next one is a 19-year-old young man, totally a different level. And he actually was writing, this was his college entry essay. This was his personal statement. And he chose also to write about family, but he chose a different approach. There was an event that he wrote about where he learned the meaning of family. And I'd like to share that with you. The event he chose was the death of his grandfather. So I'm going to just skip along a little to where he wrote. This is his first draft. This was the first time I had experienced a close family death. We had just spent 2 months together in London, and although we had always had a good relationship, it was the first time we opened up to each other. And so, to have seen him leave the world so abruptly was extremely difficult. Good job. He put all the elements in. He gave us the bones, but he didn't give us the meat. Where's the beef? Where's the color? So we know what extremely difficult means, and we know what it means to open up to each other in general. But this needed specifics. This had to become personal, and he had to do it by adding color. So I asked him, what does extremely difficult feel like for you? What does opening up mean here? How did you open up? Tell me about it. Share it with us. And this is the final draft that he did. Again, after spending 2 months together in London and the heart failure, our good relationship had become something more. We had opened up to each other. We talked. He shared things with me that I had never known. I told him things I thought I could never tell. He made me feel special. Now, for him to leave my world so abruptly was devastating. I was numb. Good job. Really good job. There was the difference. Opening up. In this case, the grandfather shared things that he had never heard before, and in turn, he was able to open up. And by the way, he could have gone totally off the rails here with, and I opened up about things I thought I could never tell, like the time I saw blah, 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 or when I felt blah, blah, blah. Don't have to pour a bucket of paint on us. You just have to dab a few of the colors, and it was wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you go to my website, there's a page called Student Samples, and you can see both of these students' full drafts, and others, different ages, different genders, and even some different topics. So, thank you for joining me today. I hope you come back. I will be doing more posts about different techniques and different elements in fine, good writing. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for joining me.